It finally passed. 15 to 9, Clarity Act changes everything for Bitcoin, BTC, XRP, Ripple, and XCN, Onyxcoin. And why did XCN go down? We'll talk about it. And lastly, two Democrats, Sens Gallego and also Brooks, voted yes after saying they would vote no. It still passed, but they went the opposite way. Probably got paid. I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat, or have the mentality of a cat. This is one small step for centralization and one giant leap for mankind. Yes, that is a Neil reference. So we're actually going to look at Bitcoin and just the small news that we have here. Bitcoin's 21-week moving average rallied, the Senate Clarity Act, markups 88, all that stuff. There's actually something different in here when I pulled this up, so we're not going to dig into that. But XRP still has the same news that I had just a few moments ago, and we're going to dig into that. We're going to bounce back to Bitcoin and the relevance for the rest of the market. So the Clarity Act is popping up everywhere. Hopefully this video gets a lot of views because everybody has been waiting for this moment. And you see that XRP 50-day moving average, higher volume, immediate resistance at $1.70 to $1.80. Technical targets around $2. That zone is cleared. So we know for a fact that XRP is going up. That's just a fact. You guys had months, if not all year, to be stacking this. And if you haven't, you still have the opportunity before it actually takes off. And we see that it's around $1.38, could be pushing up to $1.42, maybe 147, 151, 159, 167. When you guys start seeing these numbers appear on the chart, 167, that's way up here, which is right where the 200 EMA is coming in. So that's more or less a little bit of a resistance zone. But in the bigger picture, look at it. We broke out of the channel. This black trend line is all that needed to be broken. Yes, it's not the most bullish break, but it's confirmation as well as the Clarity Act, like we've been waiting all year to pass. It's showing some good signs. And like I talked about in the previous video, just because we draw these trend lines does not mean the market has to follow it in any way, but it definitely gives us a good idea of what is to come. Because we've been in this long consolidation period from February until now it is starting to put higher lows and starting to build up. The volume picked up. RSI is still very healthy. It's not running way into the overbought just because the Clarity Act went off. It's still possible that it goes from this price point up to $1.69, $1.67 with a little bit of an immediate rejection for those people that want to do those scalp trades and grab 14 to 15% profit. Always comparing it to the stock market, 12% max a year typically. That's pretty good 1 to 2 day if that does pump. But ideally, even if it does pump, we want to see a little bit of support. And now we can essentially draw an upward trend line. This red trend line has not the best support. Essentially, this is what we need to see hold. We needed to see the XRP hold on top of this and consolidate, even if it's a couple days before it pushes up. But the 200 EMA is very close. The Clarity Act is very, very important. And you might not see immediate results, but in these upcoming weeks, it's going to get pretty violent. So you guys need to stick around, like, subscribe, become a member if you want. I do cover those high ROI coins like Cookie DAO, XYO, and many others that I will not state because that is for members. Yes, it's $10, but yes, you will make that back in these upcoming months, so you will have more than enough money to continue your membership. But XRP has broken that trend line. Really, this is our pocket. I'll try and draw a little triangle for us. This is essentially the pocket right here. That's the sweet spot because we may get a push up, we may get a little bit of rejection, but as long as we are building higher lows It's going to ease its way over that 200 EMA, and then nothing is really stopping it from running up here to 235, even the 618, the orange Fibonacci retracement at $2.68, but it's $1.47 now. If you guys missed your $1.32 to $1.38 entries, um, stack now before it's too late, because $5 is the minimum first target we are expecting. Me personally, I'm expecting a major retracement, whether it's a day or a couple weeks, back down to $3.66, and then it's price discovery, because it has to go up, test the previous high as support. It says, yep, I'm not going to touch that anymore, and then starts going up to 10, 15, 18, 25, and retail is just going to start selling off like hotcakes on the way up. But don't be one of those people. Make sure you set aside some for the bigger picture, because it's at $1.47. Now let's revert back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin used to be $1.47, and shortly after, oh, I probably can't go all the way back in there. Shortly after Bitcoin was $1.47, it was nearly $200. I'm not going to go back in history because it's lagging out the iPad, but you get the point. If you got $1.47 now, and if you had $1.47 and you decided to buy Bitcoin back when it was that cheap, or even knew about Bitcoin when it was that cheap, um, you would be up exponentially just setting that aside. Bitcoin has had a consistent year over year, or I guess over the course of 4 years, profit. Anybody who bought Bitcoin in the past, more or less, that didn't buy at the all-time high, is in profit. Whether they bought at 3,000, 20,000, they are sitting pretty. And I had this red upward trend line drawn for Bitcoin, and it worked out perfectly because it came down right in between, right on the 50 of the CM Guppy, found a little bit of support, found a little bit of support on that red trend line. 200 EMA is just waiting to be jumped over and then breaking out of this channel. But keep in mind, things can happen. I'm looking at the RSI down here where we're forming a W with the purple line. And when that is near the previous purple, right here around 53, very, very healthy, then it can easily cross back over the yellow and start the overbought process, which essentially will be kicking off altcoin season. Very good Clarity Act news that came across, and it's just going to get better. Bitcoin falls on Iran war tensions, rates, and something else. Apparently, that's not working for me. So let's jump into XCN. Because XCN, unlike XRP, which is breaking out of its channel, and Bitcoin, that's about to break out of its channel, XCN heard the Clarity Act news, had a nice little pump, and then a nice little dump right afterwards. So say it was roughly here on the previous day close. It pumped. Oops, come on, work with me, iPad. Terrible. Just terrible. Well, it pumped about 0.0003, more or less. This is just terrible. Let's try that again. Bear with me. The percentage increase was about 7 to 8% once the Clarity Act was notified, like, hey, it passed, and then immediately dumped. But we had this black upward trend line that isn't the best support. It's not our best friend, but it is working. So we see that it tapped this many times down here, said, okay, we're building higher lows, major pump, and then it came down, tested it again 3 times, but it's still holding that level. Ideally, we want to see this daily candle close above this blue portion on the previous day candle. Zooming in, it's still above it. We want to see it close at least here or a little higher, and then we can expect a further consolidation period to the upside. I don't care if XCN is in consolidation, or even if it pulls back, because it's in the channel that we want it to be. The fact that the Clarity Act has passed is very beneficial for XCN, and I believe XCN is just waiting to take off. It's essentially waiting for XRP to do its thing, and XRP is waiting for Bitcoin to do its thing. And for XCN, I did have a little bit of news on it. XCN is more than likely people are uncertain and money flows out of the smaller altcoins like XCN, Onyxcoin, and flows into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is now secure. It's got that Clarity Act. Say, oh, why would I have my money in something that may go up or down? Bitcoin for sure is defined. We know that it's not a security, it's a commodity, it's a major, major thing. And since that thing has been passed, people start pulling their money out of the altcoins, put it into Bitcoin. Bitcoin pumps. People start taking the money out of Bitcoin, put it into Ethereum, take it out of Ethereum, put it into the smaller altcoins. So you see this flow of money. It goes from small to big, big to medium, medium to small, and then micro. So it's a waiting game still. This black upward trend line isn't the strongest support, so expect a little bit of a retracement if it does not close below or above this previous blue daily candle. So this video is getting a little long. I'm going to make another one for you guys and members, and good luck. Have fun with it, and I will see you guys on the next one.